Listen, if you disregard everything someone says, even when it's completely true, just because you don't like that person, you need to go over your priorities again. Because just because you don't like someone, that doesn't mean it's absolutely impossible for them to be correct. And you also should probably go over your reasonings as to why you don't like that person. And maybe, just maybe, you're wrong. Maybe, just maybe, you're right. But usually, 9 times out of 10, when we take the time to go back on these things, we find things that we didn't realize was there. Either because we were tricked into thinking we were completely wrong, or ridiculous enough to thinking we were completely right. We are human beings. You can't disregard everything someone says just because you don't like them. Because then they might end up telling you something that's true. Maybe they could teach you something. But if you don't like them, or you think they could never be correct because they're younger than you, or you just don't like them, or whatever, that's very childish. Extremely childish. You need to consider the golden rule. You need to treat others the way you want to be treated. You need to consider your actions. When you treat someone a certain way or talk to someone a certain way, would you appreciate it if you were spoken to in that manner or treated in that manner? A lot of you who are in fresh situations, even if you're years in, if you're not around a person 24/7, you don't really know them yet. Okay? There could be all kinds of crap that you have absolutely no fathomable understanding of. And you think you know everything. And you could be sitting there looking like a total fool. That's not okay, especially when you're an adult. When you are an adult, you are absolutely right. It is your obligation to be respectful and considerate. You don't get to be an adult and jump to judging someone critically right away. But then here's the thing. If you don't like that person, especially if it's based on no cause or your cause is completely bogus, you're going to sit there and disregard everything. Even if you're wrong, and you won't even know it, because your ego got in the way. That's ugly. And you're going to really think you're right. Maybe you're someone who can explain things in a way that people really think you're right. But there's also going to be people out there who can see right through that. I'm sorry. There is not only one single person in the world who's smart and the rest of us are stupid. It doesn't work that way. There's many, many, many smart people on this earth. There's more smart people than there isn't. That's why there's so much evil. Because people are smart enough to know what they're doing is wrong, but they do it anyway, and that's what makes it evil. If you let yourself absolutely hate someone based off, I don't know, maybe something someone said or a life story that they explained, and all it is words, and you have no proof, and you just went with it like a fart in the wind flies off. You went that quick. And I mean, my goodness gracious, as adults, we are obligated to not be that naive, okay? This is real life. You could end up re-abusing someone in that manner and not even knowing it and looking like a total jerk until you find yourself in those same shoes, being treated and disregarded in all the ways that you were doing to them, while also another person was that you thought was an angel from heaven, maybe. And you were dead wrong. You ever heard of the honeymoon phase? As grown adults, it is our responsibility to be very clear on what we put our full belief in and seek the truth relentlessly and not just believe everything we're told. If you go around believing everything you're told, you are very naive. If you have made, for instance, no attempt to go to God for the truth from Him first, but you just believe everything people shove down your throat, you're very naive. And I'm not talking people who have their own perception of God. I'm talking God Himself, completely void of your perception as well. The truth untouched by man. You're not an alien. You're part of mankind. The truth untouched by man. Deny yourself. Ugh. And for those of you who really want the truth, yes, it's going to be scary, but in the best way. And you're going to be so glad you did it and so proud for the rest of your life that you were brave enough to do that when most people are so obsessed with making it look like they're never wrong. Maybe something happened in their life to make them feel like they just absolutely cannot admit to wrongs, because if they do, then everything else about them is horrible, because they don't understand that as human beings we make mistakes and that's okay. We're not perfect. But when you sit there and choose to live in your mistakes and you ignore the fact that they are there or ever happened, you never, for instance, mend bridges, apologize, repent, take accountability. You never do any of that, and you're in denial, you'll make those same mistakes. For instance, if you ended up attracted to narcissistic people or messed up people, or maybe they were attracted to you because they thought they found somebody they could use. If you have never taken into consideration that maybe you had really bad taste, or maybe, just maybe, you were wrong here and there, naive. Or if you just never take accountability for your wrongs in general, you know what's going to happen? The same thing over and over and over. For those of us who take accountability for our wrongs, we have bore the burden of that weight, but it goes away very quickly. The embarrassment of standing before God guilty, that'll literally make your skin hot, your face will be red, it'll feel like you got embarrassed in front of a class full of people your age and you just did something horrendous. That's how embarrassed you'll feel. But times 10. Because you're standing before God, and when you actually take accountability for your wrongs and you face that burn, when it goes away, your life will be changed forever. And guess what? You are free, my friend. Free. But for those of you who want to trap everyone else in your toxicity because you're still in denial about all your wrongs, you won't get away with that. God will not allow it. There are a list of 6 things that God finds entirely abominable, among many others, but that list of 6 things is often, a lot of those are done by people who live a life in denial, void of accountability. And that's a concoction for a pathway straight to hell that you don't even know is there. And you'll eventually start believing your own lies, because that's how poisonous it is to live a life of lies. It is poisonous. You are becoming part of a generation of vipers. Sound familiar? Maranatha.